Boom! What up, ladies and gents? Happy Inauguration Day. The world didn't go to shit, so here we are ready to rock and roll. Let's do this.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. It's time to drop that fire.
All right, all you business pros out there. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in the podcast rankings. We will sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. If you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz/podcast guest to schedule your time slot, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so excited and so honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. One of the secrets to time freedom is the ability to have your everyday tasks taken care of by someone other than yourself. And that is exactly what our guest is bringing to the table today. But bros, I've had a VA. It didn't work out. Yeah, we've heard that before, but that's because you didn't have the system and procedures that our guest today has put together. While independent VAs can be inconsistent and costly, our guest provides VAs that systematically take over your day-to-day admin tasks, allowing you to concentrate on your truly important business priorities. If you've been considering a VA, you will not want to miss today's episode. Joining us from Efficient Aid out of Denver, Colorado, welcome to the show, Rob Toomey.
All right,
to the show, Rob.
How do you like the intro?
Hey, how am I going to follow that? That's pretty classy. I love it. I'm my best.
All right, man. Welcome to the program. The world, we didn't break into civil war today, so we had a transition of power. You can call it unsmooth. You can call it as weird as it gets, but it has happened.
Or
so
you can just celebrate.
Or we can just celebrate, whatever. But here we are. We're ready to rock and roll. Tell me a little bit about how you got into the whole VA space just to get started. I mean, it's one thing to hire a VA. It's a whole other thing to build a business around it.
Sure. Well, I got in contact and connected with a friend of mine who's been running Efficient Aid for the last few years, Kyle Warbrun here in Denver. And he basically was a one-man shop and was just running out of bandwidth. He was at the point of turning people away, which is really the last thing you want to do. And so he and I pretty much joined forces right as the pandemic was hitting, which is the worst time in the world ever to start a new business or, really change up and blow up and rebuild a new business at the start of a pandemic. But for us in our business, it worked out perfectly because everyone was sent home and they were staying home and stuff still needed to get done. And so we put the word out that we were open for business and wanted to do put VA tasks for folks. And we've just gotten a lot of referrals and word of mouth, and the contacts keep coming in, and we've been thriving really since middle of March.
Yeah, man, that whole COVID thing shifted the mindset of a lot of people. It's okay to be remote now. It's okay to do things via Zoom or any other video conferencing type things. It's okay to work from home, and your productivity still tends to be pretty high and pretty well. So as you moved into the VA space, what kind of did you have any pushback, or what was kind of your marketing strategy to get that word out to let people know, hey, this is what we're doing?
Well, we really cater to the entrepreneurs, the small companies who are really bogged down in those day-to-day tasks that they don't want to do. I mean, we consider ourselves virtual assistants, but we do more than just assistant work. I mean, we do the email organization, we do the scheduling, we'll do the invoicing, we'll do that. But we also do a lot of, say, platform management, where we'll take over your CRM like a copper and blow that up and rebuild it for you. Because a lot of these folks, they have CRMs that they just sit around really gathering dust and they don't touch them or they don't know how to use them. And so we have the expertise. Yeah, exactly. Hey, we're paying $18 a month to have this plan on copper, and it's like a gym membership. It's sitting there and you don't show up, right? So we go in there and we really, put together a plan to get these people into it and get them to really use it. So, some things like platform work, also some strategic work. We have a lot of folks that we've put together social media programs for them. And so we'll do the creative writing. We'll source out all of the creative looks that go with the social media plans. And of course, we really get to dig into them and really learn to speak in their voice. And so these media plans, the social media communication sounds like it's coming from them. And of course, the platforms that go along with the social media, like Hootsuite and things like that. So we'll manage that as well. So creative writing, things of that nature we'll do as well. In addition, we'll do, program management. We've got a few clients that they want to rebuild their website with new content and new look, and they're working with a creative agency, but they have folks on their team. They just don't have the bandwidth to partner with the agency to really, get those programs, get the projects moved forward. So we come in and we become the owners and the drivers of those projects. And we work with the creative agencies to hit those deadlines to make sure that the projects, get birthed within an appropriate amount of time.
So it sounds like it's not 100% VA, like you hire somebody and then that's it. You're almost fractioned off here, so that you're kind of meeting the needs of the entrepreneur where the entrepreneur needs are vacant, right? Their weaknesses are there. It's almost like you're doing a SWOT analysis with these people, and then you're sitting down and you're like, okay, see these weaknesses? We got your back. This is what we got covered. Am I hearing you correctly?
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we really consider ourselves like fractional COOs in a way. And our first step in working with folks is, even before we sign a contract and agree to work together, we do those discovery calls to really dig in to see what they're all about. What are they doing? What are their, the pain points? That's a phrase we all know and love. And, people, when you have conversations with them, they don't even realize what their pain points are. And so we talk to them about our experience and what we've done for other folks. And they're just shocked. They say, wow, you can take that off of my plate. I'll never have to do an invoice again. Like, no, we'll do that for you. And some of the tasks and some of the responsibilities we have, they even seep into the personal lives of folks. So, we've done some personal tasks. We had one client we worked with who had she had a tree that was coming down that needed to be taken down in her yard. She asked us can you just reach out to 4 companies in the greater Denver area that handle these tasks and can take a tree down, and can you get some pricing for us? Of course, we're happy to do that. You make a few phone calls. All right, here's the pricing. Give it to the client, and then the client asks us to set it up. So to have company X come on down and chop down the tree. So we're happy to do that as well. For kind of merging in.
I didn't think you had it in you.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about some of these tasks. Like you mentioned something that is near and dear to my heart. Sometimes there's things that in our particular business, I don't even know that I have this need for something. What does a discovery call look like when you're talking to an entrepreneur? Because usually they call you for one thing, right? They're like, hey, I need help creating a sales funnel or whatever. But then you sit down and you start talking to them, and they start opening the door. Well, actually, I need a sales funnel, but I don't actually know how to do the Facebook ads, and I probably don't have a website. What does a discovery call look like? What is the intent when you're going in there?
Well, a lot of times they come to us and say, well, I've heard you've worked with my colleague so-and-so, and I'd love to chat with you to see what you can do for me. And we basically ask them, what do you hate doing? What's preventing you from building your business and making your business better and stronger and more profitable? If someone is spending hours chasing down accounts payable, then they're not working on their business. They're not networking. They're not trying to bring new clients in. So we really want them to drill down and be brutally honest with us, as we are with them. Just tell us, what do you hate doing? What gets in the way of being, not only just profitable and successful, but happy with what you do? Because, no one wants to spend a Friday at 5:30 p.m. going through invoices or, sending out bills and so forth and chasing down accounts receivables. They don't want to do that. So we take the ugly tasks that they don't want to do. We take them off their plate and we do it for them.
So
Fine by me.
So why get into this space? I mean, there's so many different things that you could have gotten into when it comes to business. Why this space?
Well, first of all, working for myself or working with a partner is great. I've had a wide variety of experiences. I was in brand management back in New York City, and I worked with was project managers with a lot of agencies. I was in the travel industry. I worked at Arrow Electronics down south, the largest employer in Colorado. That was a great experience as well. And this was a chance really to be your own boss and to be able to pick and choose with whom you'd like to work. And also just, it's very gratifying to make people's lives easier. We're not just vendors for them. We're problem solvers. We're very proactive. So we help them to get in front of issues. And it's a real joy for both Kyle and myself and our employees to, really make people feel good and, and enhance their lives and make them more livable and help them enjoy their day to day as they, trudge through Monday through Friday.
When you started doing when you started getting into this space, what were some of the biggest obstacles you came across? I mean, every entrepreneur, it doesn't matter whether you're solving the problem for other entrepreneurs or you're starting to build your own business. What were some of the biggest hiccups you came across when you were first getting started, and how'd you overcome them?
Well, that's a great question. We've had some people who just feel like, you know what? I don't need you. I can do it on my own. Great. All right. You want to do all of that on your own. Some people are just very hands-on everything, and they can't, there's an expression, letting go of the vine. They can't let go of the vine. And so those are the people who don't work with us or don't want to work with us, and that's totally fine. Off you go. Some folks have to really get over that hump of really trusting us because, frankly, I mean, we are elbows deep in their business. Like, we know what people are paying them. We know what people are not paying them. We know how much they're making a month. So we're all in their financials. We are all in, their communications. I mean, we have clients who let us access their emails, so we can see every email that's going in or out. We email clients or potential clients on behalf of them in their voice. So people have to really trust us to go in there, really be involved in their business, the intimate parts of their business, and really trust us as a partner. And, I'm really happy to say that for the most part, that's worked out really well. It's a little bit leery. And again, that's an aspect of letting go of the vine. But once people do, I think they find they're in a comfortable spot with us.
What's 2021 going to look like? I mean, we've just inaugurated the new president.
Yeah.
Right now, we're still going through some crazy lockdowns here in California anyways.
Sure.
But as you see things maybe opening up, maybe getting back to a quote unquote normal, what do you guys see coming up in the future for employers, and how does it pertain to your business?
Well, we're very optimistic for 2021 for, one reason being that I think the business setup, the business community has just been broken like an egg and like Humpty Dumpty. It's not going to be put back together the way it was. I think employers were really worried in March and April, as I'm sure a lot of employees were as well. It's like, am I going to get my stuff done? Is Charlie going to be able to get his stuff done when he's sitting at home with the kids? I think many employers are finding out, and employees, that, we can get this shit done. And I can just sit here and have a 15-second commute from the bedroom. So why am I fighting traffic? And so, yes, I think employees are going to demand that they stay home. And frankly, if employers start to demand that people come to work, all it takes is a couple of folks to be like, you know what? I don't feel safe. I mean, we've all had those experiences, most of us do, where you're sitting shoulder to shoulder with someone at these long tables with a, 6-inch barrier in between you. Someone sneezing and they in their hand, and they walk by you and they touch the back of your chair and off they go. And it's like, I think those days are over for the most part. And I think people realize that, yes, our quality of life is better when we can work at home and get our stuff, and we can get our stuff done. People have proven that over the last, we're going on 10 months now. So now I totally understand, and I've been a part of it, the value of the the meeting in person and collaborating in person. But as Zoom gets better and it's, people become more nimble, I think, and they get more used to working via Zoom and other types of programs, that I think the virtual world is, and the virtual workplace is going to be here to stay in a large capacity anyway.
And, hiring people in the U.S., minimum wage, having that overhead of, the office space, all that's shifting. So now you're dealing with not a US based employment economy, but there are so many people like yourself that are looking at the world as a place to employ people.
Sure.
What's been your experience like as you bring on people from completely different cultures with a completely different time frame, on the other side of the world, literally? What's your experience been like in finding quality help?
Well, I have to confess that we haven't gotten to that point yet. So we're US based, all of our clients are US based, our employees are based in the US. We do have to deal with the different time zones because folks on the East Coast and working with folks on the West Coast, but we know that going in is that they just have to make themselves available for the client. We work with a particular set of clients where there's flexibility and the timelines aren't incredibly demanding. Like, we would never work with a client who would just be calling someone on the phone on the East Coast at 10 p.m. saying, I need you to put this together for us now. That's not the client we want, right? Like, quality of life is important for us as well, and for all of our employees. That's one of our part of our mantra, and it's really one of our pillars, I should say. And we vet, the client vets us, but we vet the client as well. And so we've been in situations where we felt it wasn't a good fit for whatever reason, and we have the power to go our different ways, separate ways as well. So we feel good about the relationships we have, and we feel good about kind of the type of client and the type of entrepreneur and the type of decision maker that we've identified that we can work well with. So I think we've been very fortunate to find a nice group of folks that we work with who kind of have a similar attitude and similar mindset.
So your people are here in the U.S., your employees. So let's talk about the structure. How do you have it structured? If I were to hire a FishNaid, am I subcontracting out the work and the employees work for you, or are you finding employees for me?
We are working with us. We have employees, and we would match you. It would either be Kyle or myself, or someone else within the company who would be your point person at a FishNaid. So they'd be the person who's be meeting with you weekly, downloading everything that we've worked on during the week, consistently being in that discovery mode of, all right, what's happening next? What can we do for you? And so you'd have one point person. So you wouldn't be just sending an email off to a FishNaid, that's some, black box and not wondering what's happening. You'd be calling Rob. Or Kyle, or someone would be your person. The great thing about us is that we've got folks who have a nice breadth of experiences and expertise, and they're not all the same. They're very different. So if I just think about Kyle and myself, Kyle, my partner, is great in terms of platforms and CRMs, and just getting in there and breaking stuff down and putting them back together. So if I had someone who's like, I need a recommendation of a CRM and I need you to build this for me, from scratch, even though I'm a point person, I'd be working with Kyle. Kyle has someone who's like, wow, I need someone to write, put together some creative writing or put together some copy for a web page. That's more my strength, the creative side. So he would then turn to me. So we have a nice yin and yang going on with each other in terms of getting that stuff done. And, and we have a couple of employees that kind of have a mixture of the two. So it's nice. And so I think we've got a nice group of folks who have a nice, like I said, breadth of experiences that we can really deliver. And frankly, if there are things that we can't do, we just totally say, like, no, we don't, we're not going to go in and code a website for you because we can't do it. If you'd like us to help you source someone out for that, we're happy to do it, but we won't claim to do anything that we're not very good at.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, it gets tough once you open up that doorway of help me out with things that I'm struggling with.
Mhm.
There could be a lot of things. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I can go on the whole funny side. Well, I'm having issues at home. My wife is XYZ, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
exactly. So, tell me about a little more about your team. I like the fact that you have that whole yin and yang stuff. So, if you were to narrow down what your core competencies are, like what your ideal client looks like, who is it that you're looking for?
Well, our where we fit the need for the clients we're most successful with are those who are just overwhelmed by their daily tasks. People who just feel like they're getting bogged down in the daily stuff, and they're so busy that they have 750 unread emails in their inbox, that they're so crazed that they can't prioritize and they can't address these tasks that are in front of them every day, but they just keep mounting and getting bigger and bigger, and the mountain, the proverbial pile of emails just keeps growing. And so it's people that really need help with their day-to-day existence, frankly. I've had several conversations with folks who are just like, oh man, I haven't checked my LinkedIn profile in weeks. And 3 weeks ago, someone reached out to me and I didn't see it. I just saw it right now. And I emailed her right back, and they found someone else as a partner for whatever task they needed. So it's like, we're the ones who go in and try to do that, frontline work for them. So,
when you're working with people, when you bring people on, you kind of want to get to know them and who they are, right? It's the whole know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
So what is it that Rob likes to do on his free time when he's not bogged down doing everybody else's dirty work, right? So what makes you, what makes you Rob? What makes you unique and something that somebody that we want to work with?
Well, I'm here in Denver, Colorado. My wife and I moved out here in 2009 from the East Coast. Couldn't tell by the way I talk, I'm sure. So we're out here really just being outdoors. We love being outdoors. We love the lifestyle. We love to ski. We love to hike. We just love being outside. The mountains are right there, and the hiking is fantastic. When we travel overseas, we like to do hiking trips. So we love being outdoors. We love being out and about. And so the lifestyle really suits us well.
And then the flexibility of being self-employed has made that even easier for you, right?
Certainly, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. And my wife is an entrepreneur as well. And no kids. So we're dinks, double income, no kids. And,
you got the freedom, man. That's the freedom right there.
Oh yeah. So, you can pour that glass of scotch at 3:30 in the afternoon on Friday. No one's bothering you. So we both love being outside and, enjoying the great outdoors. And that's frankly why we're out here in Denver.
You kind of mentioned your background in different types of industries. What kind of motivation do you listen to today? Like, who's your inspiration? Who's your mentor? Like, what type of stuff are you listening to or reading to kind of get you in a position? So maybe you're I don't know if you're like me, sometimes you just don't have the energy to do stuff, and then something kicks you into gear.
Oh wow, great question. I have to confess that I don't read a ton of business books. Gino Wickman, who wrote the book Traction, who is just a fantastic author. He's in charge of the Entrepreneurial Operating System, which EOS as it's called. We have several clients in the who are EOS implementers. And Gino's just written several books about EOS and what they do. EOS, basically, they work with clients of, in any industry. They're industry agnostic and with, varying degrees of size. And they have a very practical, laid out, basic, upfront plan of breaking down problems, identifying problems, and then finding solutions. So they work with leadership teams to really identify what the issues are. And it's very systematic and it's documented, and there's a high degree of accountability where people have to, say what they're going to do to fix these issues. And so Gino Wickman's just written a lot of great stuff. So he's one. But I also read a lot of. I'm a history fan. Back 1,000 years ago, I was actually a social studies teacher, and I was always been a history fan. And so just reading the greats like Truman is one of my favorite books by David McCullough, and I just love President Truman, his attitude of like, it's if somebody's got to do it, it's going to be me that's going to do it. Like he always said, the buck stops here. Like I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to take ownership. If something's going to be done, put it on my back. I'm going to take care of it with no excuses. And if it doesn't work out, then the fault's on me, not anyone else.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Right? Are you a fan of any of the dystopian type books? 1984's The Atlas Shrugs, the kind of what I'm kind of wondering because I just finished Atlas Shrugs not too long ago, and just the different parallels in the mindsets that are going on in the world today kind of gets me. It kind of gives me goosebumps sometimes, like not in a good way, sometimes like in a Sixth Sense way, like, oh my gosh, like you can kind of foresee things, and you're a history buff. You can kind of see patterns of people in history, and the things are happening again, just in a little bit different ways. Yeah. What's your feel on the climate? Like, especially going forward for business, we like to have that certainty, but we just don't know. And with a little bit of, being a history buff, what kind of comparisons can you make to what's happened in history and what's happening today?
Well, there's never certainty, right? The only
no.
certainty is that there's uncertainty.
Correct.
And so I think you have to really be nimble and be able to adapt, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit older, and so when there are people who are coming right out of college who have different skill sets than I do, it's my responsibility to adapt to them and to learn some of the skills that they know. And so that's the only way you're really going to survive is, you can't be that dinosaur and say, well, I'm not going to change. Well, the world is changing, at a blistering pace in, so many areas. And so you have to be adaptable and be willing to adapt as things change. Historical comparisons. Well, I mean, I wasn't really alive to witness it, but I remember having conversations with my parents about the uproar of the late '60s, and it just seemed like the divisions between the generations was very just like a brick wall between the two. It was very strong, and of course, there was violence on the streets of the Democratic National Convention, and all of that happened, and but we got through it. Time went on, and things got better, and people started to see other people's different points of view, and hopefully that's the case here. I mean, is the division greater now than it was back then? I think probably it is, but we're all kind of in this together. So,
oh man, dude,
We were on a break.
Is that what 2020 is about? We were on a break for 2020.
I'm sounding like a hippie, aren't I? Gee, then I'm definitely not a hippie, but that's what I'm sounding like.
Oh man, no, it's not. It's it's funny, dude, because I teach high school right now. Like I teach part time in the morning.
What do you teach?
I teach a course called financial algebra. So I get to teach kids about balancing checkbooks and buying a house and doing that sort of stuff. Some of the skills that you need in real life, right?
Yeah, fellow teacher. It's quite the the group to be in. Dude, it's not an easy gig.
But when you talk about aging yourself, there are certain things. I saw this video the other day and it said, ask your kid. I mean, you don't have a kid around you, but ask your kid to hold up a pretend phone, right? And if I asked you, hold up a pretend phone, what would you do?
Probably go
yeah, you'd go like that, right? They go like this. That's completely different, right?
I go back here with the rotary phone. Never mind. Like this. You get to the didn't even use the area code. You get to the 6 numbers you find. You hit the 7th one. You hit it wrong. Gonna start all over again.
Oh, dude, you just hate numbers with zeros in them. All the way around.
All the way around that dial.
No, but it's crazy times, in as much as things are changing, as much as we've adapted and the world has become a smaller place because of technology, some of the things that are tried and true, and it's to your point, whether it was the 60s or today, is you have to have a conversation with people, right? You
Yeah.
have to talk to people because you realize really quick that it doesn't matter, and this was part of my Instagram story this morning. We're all sold on something. If you're on the blue side, you were sold. If you were on the red side, you were sold. And the difference or the similar things between both sides is you were consuming content at scale from one messaging or the other. It didn't really matter, but you were being sold. And one of the things that's important to me today is you as an entrepreneur need to be doing the same type of thing. You need to be creating content about what it is you do so that other people know and they want to work on your products or services, which is why you're on the podcast today, right? You're creating content so that you can tell people what it is you do. So before we end today, I want to make sure that people know how they can get a hold of you so that you can, so that if they want to work with you and take advantage of the services that you offer, how can they get the most information?
Yeah, you bet. Well, our website is Efficient Aid, one word, AIDE, efficientaid.com. And there's a contact us page on the website there. So you can just submit your info there, or you can just email me, rob@efficientaid.com. And, I'll get back to you and we can happy to have a conversation. And, just as we were chatting, talking about making that connection, what's encouraging to me and hopefully to a lot of people out there is that we can do that even via Zoom. People are finding out that, hey, we don't have to be like face to face and size someone up and shake their hand. I mean, I'm a personable guy and I prefer that, but in this day and age, we can do it via Zoom. So it works, it works. And so that's another reason why Kyle and I were very optimistic moving forward in 2021.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. Have a conversation, connect with people. You may not be able to shake their hand. You may not be able to give them a hug or a kiss, but you can still have a conversation, right? And those conversations are what lead to relationships. They can lead to business opportunities, networking opportunities. You just never know. So I encourage people to do two things. One, have a conversation. And two, if you're in business, put out as much content as you possibly can. So I'm going to use this time to cheap plug myself. If you guys need help getting your content done, we offer you a program where you can get all your content done for the entire month, $297. Go to businessbros.biz/done for you. And if you guys need any help with a lot of the services that are out there, you're too busy. Your day-to-day is just mundane tasks. Make sure you guys check out Rob. Go to efficientaid.com. Check out the services that he offers. You can email him at rob@efficientaid.com. Rob, thank you very much for being on the program today, taking the time to come on. I know Colorado's kind of cold right now. Right? But thank you for taking the time to come on the show.
You bet. It was my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gents, we'll see you guys tomorrow. My favorite day of the week, SHIT. So happy it's Thursday. We'll see you then. Peace. And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.